In this week's presentation, I'd like to talk about how media and TV affect social perceptions of crime and violence. So, here are my reactions about the topic. I wasn't surprised to find out in the article called The Influence of Exposure to Depictions of Race and Crime that white individuals would identify any black person they see to be the suspect they read in a newspaper about a violent crime. In other words, whites automatically believe that any black person could have done that specific crime they read in about a newspaper because they assume that all black individuals commit violent crimes. And so now imagine how bad those people of color would feel because they're being discriminated. In the other article titled Crime Cultivation, I would have to agree with the authors when they explain that when a newspaper or a TV news channel covers a local homicide story, people automatically feel that fear than to a non-local homicide cover story because I think, okay, the that person or persons are not near my family and home, so I feel a little more safe. So it changes my judgments when they describe an event that didn't occur in my area. Another thing to know about this article is that watching those TV shows that are a reality definitely increases my fear than fiction crime shows because obviously it's real people who experience these events. Do I believe mass media creates an unwarranted levels of fear of crime in society? Well, much of the media sometimes creates an high level of fear because, for example, there's video games that people, including children, can get ideas from, and if they were to ever become a delinquent, with hoping they wouldn't, they would put those actions into a reality. And then also, TV news and shows play a role in also giving higher levels of fear to the consumers because the description of the crime can interfere with the person's mind. So, in the article Crime Cultivation, the authors Grade and Drew explain that camera and editing techniques have shown to change TV content. So, these sources affect our memory, and certain words or phrases or even actions can trigger our sense of being terrified. And then also, social media like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook sometimes shows viewers courtroom cases, police procedurals, news sources describing violence, or people generally talking about it, and it can increase our level of fear, making us think that we live in a scary and unsafe world. How do the perceptions of crime reinforce social labels and stereotypes in society? Our perceptions of crimes vary in different people. Some people believe that black individuals are more likely to be deviant and commit the majority of the crime because they would come from a poor community and family. Others believe that whites are more likely to commit justifiable acts of crime. But the truth is that both races have an almost equal chance to commit serious crimes. Back in the time of slavery, black people were viewed as criminals for no reason other than their color. So they would be tortured, incarcerated, or killed. And that's why these stereotypes are created and are risen because of our history of racism. And today, when many people hear of a crime that was made, they automatically identify any black individual as the one who committed these crimes. What are the most important ideas, the concepts, or research presented in the articles in correlation to the information in the textbook by John Kira? So, in chapter 2 of Relativity of Deviance by John Kira and the article of the influence of exposure to depictions of race and crime, there's a similarity presented here in both of these readings. So in chapter 2, it says physical appearance plays a significant role in social interactions with each other as it affects how we treat one another. And this relates to the article because it discusses how most individuals will see a person of color and then indicate that they are the suspect from that committed such a crime they saw on media. So, in other words, Black individuals will be stereotyped and discriminated and more likely to be represented as criminals. So, now let's discuss what best theoretical perspective would fit in this mass media and the social perceptions of crime and deviant behavior. So, the proper theoretical perspective that would best describe the influence of mass media is conflict theory. And this theory focuses on the evidence of inequality in our society or the system. So, this corresponds with the influence of media because it tends to form perceptions of discrimination and inequality against the Black minority group. And a media's platform aids to change the point of view of consumers. And this concludes our discussion on how TV and media affect social perceptions of crime and violence. Thank you. And these are my references that I used to back up my arguments.